Political psychology is a interdisciplinary academic discipline that combines psychology and political science together and sort of explores the space in between those two fields. And so one way that it's different than normal psychology would be its focus on politics. Politics is the topic of political psychology, no surprise. One way it's different than political science is that it focuses a lot more on the individuals who are involved, and it really focuses on the ways that cognitive traits or cognitive processes can affect the politics of individuals. So it's a really interesting subfield because it lets you have your hands in so many different topics, because political psychology, you've got political science, you've got psychology. You also have to think a lot about economics, a lot about sociology. I've done some work in cognitive neuroscience before and pull that in. I've done some work in evolutionary biology as well and pull that stuff in. So it's a really exciting discipline, and it's almost like a set of tools to try and understand how does the political mind work.
I came to it in part through my work with looking at mass media and what messages they send and how it impacts people. I think the other dimension is it's useful for us to know when we look at American politics why people think and do what they do, right?
Yes.
What motivates them? And are they always aware of everything that's motivating them? That's sort of one side. The other side is political persuasion, which when I came through graduate school, there was no political psychology. There was political persuasion. And that came through the media, came through campaigns and so on. And in some ways they dovetail well together, right? Because politicians are constantly trying to persuade their electorates of what they stand for and what why they want people to vote for them. And I think understanding how the political mind works guides our campaigns surely today. And I'm guessing we'll get into that in more detail as they develop political advertising and so on to try to engage in this persuasion. So, it's just integral to American politics and especially campaign politics.
One of the useful places for political psychology, although honestly generally this is social sciences and in its big picture, is human beings are really complicated to understand, but it doesn't mean they can't be understood, right? So when you find examples of irrationality in politics, it doesn't really mean, oh, you know what, we found, people are nuts and therefore they're unpredictable and therefore there's no point in studying them. That social science and that tries to really get into that and try and understand us. We can't be studied like planets, right? Because we're thinking beings, but we're also not totally random. Like there's stuff going on, there are patterns in behavior. And I think one part of political psychology that's useful for campaigns, for example, is trying to help understand where these patterns are and what patterns might emerge.